Ram Bhagat, who will talk about COVID-19 migration and livelihood in India. So bringing uh, the global right in for us here.
Thank you, Jeffrey, and hello to everybody. I'm very glad to be part of this book launch, and I must thank Ibrahim for including me in this book. So, as you know, that this chapter is based on India, and India is a big country. We have 1.3 billion people, and internal migration constitute a very large proportion. We have 37% population belongs to internal migrants, 450 million. So what we are trying to argue in this book is that internal migration constitute very important element in the development process, and we have to see the internal migration uh, not as a single form. It has a multiple form. So we have 37% population internal migrants, 450 million, but there are two segments of migrants who are very, very vulnerable. One is the interstate migration, interstate migrants, and that constitutes about 60 million people. So that is one thing, one category. Other is the migrants who are circulating and temporary type of migrants who keep on moving from rural to urban area, and they are not part of the uh, urban system, uh, urban social and political system. So they are another category of vulnerable category of migrants. We are also trying to present in this book that what COVID has done. COVID did not create any new problem. So far, we understand the Indian situation, but it has brought several problems to the limelight, and it intensified the problem, and it presented before us. And it generated a type of consciousness that was not there earlier. People were thinking, oh, migration issue is not important, something it is part of the informal workforce. Or if we can take care of poverty, migration is not an important issue. But then when lockdown was started in this country, and what we experienced that India's lockdown was one of the harsh lockdown, and it was not planned. So then it affected the migrants so hugely that our Prime Minister declared lockdown in the night of 24th March. Lockdown started in the morning, almost midnight, 25th, after 3 hours time. And then it was created a lot of disaster, economic disaster for the people who are not part of the uh, urban system. They were not included. So then the large number of people, migrants, they started walking on the roads, and this has brought media, brought this issue on front page, and there was, of course, great deal of help from civil society. This unprecedented solidarity that India has seen during this time. So, but this is what our social, economic inclusion and inequality has been brought to the limelight of the policymakers, before the policymakers. And now migration issue has become a very important subject of research and discourse, not across and not only among migration experts, but across the social science disciplines. Now political scientists, sociologists, or media is so much interested. So now what are the issues coming? Our chapter shows that there are three to four important issues. One is that because our chapter focuses on challenges and what will be the policy issues. And one of the challenges is that social protection. We are very weak in terms of social protection, although we have some of the largest social protection scheme in this country. You well were knowing that we have employment guarantee scheme in the rural area, what is called Mahatma Gandhi Rural Employment Guarantee Scheme, covering almost very 70 crore people, 700 million people. So we have some of the things, but then that exclusion was very rampant. So far, the migrants were concerned in the urban context, and this exclusion was primarily due to they are not part of the system, and two factors operated. One is the identity proof, and other is the residential proof. So now we have these two things, that when migrants migrate from rural to urban area, it is not easy to have a residential proof. And once we don't have residential proof, urban inclusion becomes very, very difficult, and then social protection is denied. So this is how we have internal issues of citizenship, not in a formal sense, but in a very substantive sense. One is citizen, but what happens to the citizenship rights? So this is now coming in a big way in a policy domain, how to protect the citizens and citizens' rights. The second most important thing that has come, and we highlighted in this book, is that we have massive urban-rural divide. Our big cities where our GDPs are growing, and rural-urban divide and inequality has been growing, although GDP has been impressive during the last 30 years. So how to bridge this rural-urban divide? That is we have tried to focus it. And lastly, that is most important for us as an academician, that data, there is something which is data not available on migration, or if available, it is very old. And then when new data are collected on labor force, no question on migration is there. So why this is happening? There are political economic factors behind that. So we now a lot of demands are coming. Yes, we should have data in census and national sample surveys. So these are now getting momentum, and I think these positive changes are coming as a challenge. But of course, there is a various government is thinking in terms of, and government has started taking action on this matter. Hopefully, it will be something very, very positive impact in future in terms of both social protection as well as bridging rural-urban divide in this country, and also having data availability on this issue. These are the things we have highlighted in this book. So I will stop here. Thank you very much for giving this opportunity.
Thank you so much, Dhruv.